Try again. Stream cannot be created. Is stream being created now? Am I live? I think I'm live. All right. Okay, everybody. I'm just here. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, it's there we go. I'm gonna just wave to everybody. Hello. Oh, I got cute little emojis I can use on my on here. Didn't know I had them. Anyways, there we go. Let's stop. Okay. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. There we go. Put that there. Need that to go. And there we go. Put that down here. Learning how to use some new things on my. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for sort of, wondering what the hell I'm doing. Sending you out so much love today. Today is February 17th, 2025. I'm coming to you with the 411 of the cray cray of the world. Some of you may not be up. I'm just having to go to work in a little bit here. So I just wanted to come in to just chit chat because I feel like, I don't know, what was my last live? Maybe Friday or something. Anyways, it feels like that I miss a day and I look at astrology and it's just like, oh, no freakouts. Yeah, no freakouts, man. No freakouts. It's Mercury's in Pisces. It's heading towards Saturn. We have the moon's going to be leaving Libra and going into Scorpio. Uh Everything's at sort of a standstill. Saturn's coming out of its shadow and it's heading towards the last decan with with Neptune. So there's a lot of that Neptunian energy, and we're witnessing a movie. We're witnessing some crazy things, and it's so important for us to really learn how to disconnect from this and not fully get fully engaged in and get yourself really into the craziness, because it's like everybody's going to have a job to do. Like I'm witness like I'm seeing, a ship going through troubled seas, and everybody on the ship, they're on deck. Everybody has a job on deck to do, right? We all have a position that we have to uphold and pull the ropes in, or change the sails, or whatever it is that we have to do within ourselves. And we have to look at it that there is um a time when we have to disconnect, a time when we have to just trust in what is unfolding before us. And if that's not working, then we have to say, I have to disconnect from this, whatever it is, from this you know relationship, from this job, from this idea. I have to move back away from it. I can't continue connecting with it. And this is where our mental factors feel we feel way beyond, like, it's just like, well, how can we do it? How can we It's like we're in the twilight zone, and we're in this area that's taken us to a place that maybe we are trying to avoid, but we're in the middle of it. It's like watching all those uh what is it, alien that alien show, Alien Encounters. And you're in the forest. You ended up being in this forest. Good morning, Lexi. And you're like, how did I get here? Why am I here? Or you're in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, and you're like, holy shit. Because that's the way the energies are. The energies we are This is the biggest switch with energies that we're going to feel. Like, right now, like, this is huge. We are entering into dramatic change in the world around us, right? Your new camera sure is clear. Wow. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, Lexi. But we are in the biggest change in the world. We are going to be the performance of this movie that is unfolding is going to be unfathomable. And I felt that I just felt I just needed to come out come here and just say, "Hey, people, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine, but it's just going to get crazy." I been like watching again. You gotta be the observer in this. You can't get yourself into all the crazy that is unfolding right now. I see it here you know, in Canada. And yeah, I love Canada, but when I start seeing everybody, even on my Prime, they're focusing on Canadian made movies and Canadian made this. I'm sorry, some Canadian shows really suck. I'm sorry, they just do. I mean, they just don't have the glitz and the glamour, or I don't know, they don't have the cameras that they have in the States. I don't know what it is, but sometimes when you watch them, you're just like, "This is like, okay," you know? Frustrated. I went to bed early to get away from it. It was crazy. Yeah, and the thing is, we're really entering into more of it. Venus, Mercury's, stopped, and he's going to be going forward. We have, with that being said, I mean, not Mercury, Mars, he's still in Cancer. I mean, he's still in a place that of detriment, right? And he's at 17 degrees. Nothing's moving. Nothing's, like we're kind of in a standstill energetically when it feels like you want to move forward, you want to get things done, you want to go, but you just can't. It's just not doing anything. And this is where you could be in a fog, in this fogginess, and it's in the depths, and it's deep, and it's like it's like, when they say I could cut this fog with a knife. And it's a spiritual movie. It's us to really witness and to come into some discernment with this and trust in our divine path. Trust in that divine will. That's why on March 2nd, I'm going to just throw this out. March 2nd, the divine will path is coming in, the journey's coming in. And what that is, it's 21 days that you'll be receiving a video or an audio from me every day to help you through that day, like help you, like we're going to be doing different mantras, prayers, words of inspiration. I'll be talking about different authors like Brene Brown, C.S. Lewis. I'm going to be, quoting some of the things that they, to help us through this time. March is a very heavy transformational time. If you're wanting to join me, it's $88. There's payment plans. If you want to do 4 payments of $22, fine. If you want to do 2 payments of $44, fine. Just have to let me know, right? And you could join me. Join me on this journey. This journey is going to help you to get through the craziness, and we're going to be celebrating the spring equinox. We are going to be celebrating, a new moon and a full moon in here. This is about this huge transformation that's coming in. March is crazy month. It's one of the crazy months. And this is where we're going to find that it's not calm. We're coming into some really heightened astrological energy that is going to be hitting us throughout the world. And we are going to be witnessing a lot of crazy turmoil that is going to be happening. We saw what J.D. Vance said at the World Economic Forum, or talked to the European Union, and they're meeting this week. All the leaders of the European Union, they're meeting in Paris, going to be talking about that because he called them out. We're witnessing how things are getting crazier here in Canada, and how it's amazing how a division is starting to happen, right? And it's that it's like I just get like people just got to step back from it. It's like this movie, this spiritual movie that has to unfold. This is Aquarius. Aquarius is the one that, wants to bring in, you'll have the humanitarian, but then you're going to have the humanitarian that takes it to the extremes, right? You're going to have the ones who are going to be called the heretics, and you're going to be witnessing like, well, why are they being called a heretic when they're calling out goodness and rightness? I watched I think it was in Ohio State, where they had this so-called high priestess come in to open up their meeting. Well, if you're not going to have the Quran read or the Bible read or any of this, and you're tossing them out, but you're having this goddess come in and she's calling in all these different gods and goddesses and stuff too. I'm like, no, it's church and state should be separate, right? This is what we have to do. This is how we have to delegate. But you're seeing where others are infiltrating, and it's a very fine line. It's a very fine line. And being in this spiritual business for a number of years and coming to recognize a lot of what is unfolding, I'm just like, holy shit. Like, seeing just some of the things I've been witnessing lately, especially when it comes to different deities and information that's coming in from these different energies, that for me, I'm witnessing a lot of falseness. A lot of falseness is coming in. And this is where I'm just like, whoa. And I kind of like stepping back from things when it comes to it. Good morning, Charlene. And it's interesting to witness. It's interesting to witness. And it's interesting to see how, with the astrology, how a lot of this darkness is coming out and oozing out into the light, oozing out into our world. And people are grasping onto it, right? And it's like, oh, let go and trust. There's a higher power that's here for us to work with, that wants to bring in light, wants to bring in love, wants to bring in healing, wants to, but we have to allow it. We have to, but it's like we don't want. It's like a majority of the world doesn't want this love, doesn't want this goodness in the world. They would rather hang on to what is not, right? And dig up all the evil, I guess there is. And the thing is that the goodness is coming in ways that we may not like, because it's like taking, it's basically a parent coming in and saying, you haven't cleaned your room in a month, and they're saying, okay, it's time to do this, or you haven't been doing the work on yourself, or it's time to take responsibility. It's time to take those reins and say, okay, this is what I need to do for myself. So this is like, each of us as individuals, we really have to take, what do I need to take responsibility for my own self? It's like, holy shit, I don't want to. This is hard work. And some people haven't even been taught how to do that, which is like, I was listening to a podcast, and they're talking about the generation, what are they? Z, Alpha, whatever. Um that how rude they are, and they don't know how to open a door for, for a woman or an elderly person, right? They won't give their seats up. Then people are finding, well, they haven't been taught. So this is a wake up call for these people that haven't been taught this, haven't been taught. And so then they'll grasp on to whatever comes in because it looks cool and it looks easy, because they don't have to take the full responsibility of looking after themselves spiritually. Because looking after yourself spiritually, that means that you have to sort of do a little check-in. Am I okay? Am I doing well? Do I need help? And part of that is your health. Part of that is is your relationships. Do I have positive relationships in my life, or are my friends seedy and underhanded like Jupiter when when the mafia brothers were together, right? And wanting to lead me down. Well, we got something very similar because now Saturn is coming up to Neptune, the illusionist, right? So and they control the media. And then we have the other one that's the government. So we have this craziness that is starting to unfold. And we are riding along on this ship. This ship is in a heading into the biggest storm we've ever been into. And we have to hunker down. We have to allow ourselves to steer the boat in a very positive way. And a positive way means surrender. Woo! Breakfast. And a positive way means that we have to allow ourselves to step into the divine will, step into a place of where we can focus, where we can allow ourselves time to breathe, time to ground, time to connect, time to be silent. Oh, silent in a world that is noisy. The noise is going to get crazy, and a lot of it we're not going to understand. Stu was, just it's frustrating because I know, like, it was like he's trying to explain things to even to his sister, and she's not believing what he's saying, and he's like, and he gets frustrated and he gets angry. I'm like, we can't get frustrated and angry at them because they know not what they do, right? We can only lead by example. We can only lead by showing. That's what we got to do. And this astrology, this is what's coming in, where Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. Like, and it's not that we have to plot out our next 20 years, right? Because I'm like, I'll be like 81. But we got to look at the direction of how we need to be right now. And with that moon going into Scorpio, it's going to bring up a lot of craziness and a lot of things that are going to get you to look at, and they're going to seem scary, because that's what Scorpio does. It brings in the taboo, brings in the scary, brings you into the shadow of the things that you don't really want to look at internally and externally around the world, right? But it's going to show us those reflections. So hunker down. We're heading into the biggest switcheroo. We're only on February 17th. We haven't even hit March, but it's beginning that switch now. It's starting to formulate. This last full moon that we had in Leo was one for us to really solidify and come within the heart, for us to come into the directions that we need to go into. That's what that full moon was. And right now, it is very much, and I'm going to call the divine will in again. And that's why the 21 days, that's why I'm doing it in March. March, people are going to be needing an anchor in some way. If it's not with me, it's with however you need to find it, and finding that anchor. That's why you're finding a lot of people going back to church, going back to, because they're wanting to find an anchor. They're wanting to find a place that's going to help them and guide them. And, it's where you have to look at it and not judge when people are doing that, because it's trying to find a captain to your boat, to your ship. It's for you to find, it's helping you to find a direction that you need to find in, and how you need to find into it. I was asked, must have been in a meditation, but I went and they were taking in my meditation, I was going and I was doing, and it was like, "Oh, we're going to take you to the sweat." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to go to the sweat." And my guide was like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, one, I need I can't just go to a sweat for sweat's sake, right? And if I'm going to a sweat for a sweat's sake, just I'm going to go." I said, I need a cleansing. I need to look into more for for myself." And as my guides were leading me in this meditation, I was like going, it was like they wanted me to enter into it. And I was just like, something inside me was saying, no, I can't go into it. And then when I looked into it, it was like, yeah, it wasn't a good place. It wasn't it was where there was a lot of things in that room. And I looked around and I went, no, I'm glad, there was a higher power from that guide. The guide that was leading me was false. And I came back out of that meditation, and I just went, wow. I really had to trust in my inner wisdom, in knowing that there are false guides out there. There is false witness out there. There's, even though you might feel like, okay, I'm in a safe area, I'm doing my meditations, but there is things that can infiltrate. And that's why it's so important for you to come back in and trust. Because your ego will say, well, I have to trust this. I'm in a meditation. I have to do this. But there's something there, because the veil is so thin. Other things can infiltrate and make it look good. And that's why it's very important to disconnect sometimes and reevaluate the directions that you need to go into, and trust and say, no, I'm not going to do that. No, that's not the right direction to go into. And that's so important. That's so important right now, because there is some crazy things that are starting to happen. And there are going to be, a lot of information and falsity that's coming out. And again, it's like, okay, I got to surrender to the divine will and to this higher power, and trust in that divine will and trust in the divine, and bring forth the positivity, bring forth the love, because that's what I was doing in the meditation. Okay, if this is to be, I need to bring in the love. I need to bring in Archangel Michael and ask Archangel Michael for his help and guidance. And all of a sudden, when the door, when that flap was open, I saw, like, holy shit, it was like the den of hell. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, holy shit. Before, I probably would have like, okay, yeah, okay, they're leading me to be cleansed or whatever. But it was showing me that just because this is what they said it is, doesn't mean it is. And that's not only within the dream world, because the dream world can be a reflection of the real world. Just because they say this is what it is, doesn't mean that is what it is. This is when you have to come in and you say, Archangel Michael, call him in, call in the higher powers, call in the divine, and trust that you're going to be okay. Oh, big spiritual battle, man, that we're entering into. I mean, next month, the eclipses, it's going to get messy, but that's why the anchor is so important for us to have. The anchor is so important to have. In my 21 days, there's going to probably be some prayers that you might not have been used to or have done before, which is part of the challenge, right? It's to get you out of your comfort zone. You might not like them. You might feel like resistant to it. You might want to fight them. But it's like, why am I fighting it? Right? So there's going to be prayers in there that we're going to bring forth. And we're going to bring forth different, you know, different poetry or poems and readings in the 21 days. And I'm excited. I've been working on it for a bit. Now I have to when my time off the next couple days, or whenever I do get time off, I am going to be recording and doing some recording and stuff on this. So honestly, if you're wanting to join me, just let me know, because I feel, I know I warned you about what was happening in 2019. And was I wrong? I'm warning you now of what's going to be happening not only this year, but what's going to be happening next month is going to be the craziest events and things in the sky that are going to happen that we won't be able to understand or explain. And we need this. We need this. This is important. This is important. And this is this is the make or break year. And it's a year that is going to transform the world forever. Right? This is, I'm going to bring up King Henry VIII when he went through, and he changed the way England was. He changed the England forever and the world forever. He separated from the Roman Catholic Church. He made himself the head of the church, but I mean, he did a separation there. And he was one of the most loyalist of the church. He was the Pope's favorite, and he stepped away from it. I mean, some of it was for his own, you know, horny greed, but others was he saw that, oh, this money isn't coming back to my country. This money isn't helping actually the people that needs to help. Yeah, pretty interesting. Same with the change. If they didn't step up and do the revolution in the United States, would the United States it wasn't the United States then. I mean, they were all British citizens. Change the world forever. This is what we're entering into, a time that's going to change the world forever and change how we connect and how we deal with those that are around us. And it's going to be very interesting in it. So definitely have your patriotism, but definitely be aware. Don't get sucked into everything, right? But it is going to bring some crazy energies, and changes that are coming in. And starting this week, baby. Let's go out. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the changes, but of course I'm a Scorpio. We like crazy, we like chaos, right? So we're bringing in a little bit of crazy and chaos. Anyways, if you're wanting to join me, want a reading, get a hold of the Guru Mama at gmail.com, and we can book you in and get you in. Have a blessed day, everybody. I'm going to eat my breakfast and I got to go to work. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all you say and all you be and all you do. Blessings to you all. Thank you. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.